Hello everybody, welcome to another review from Izzy Said Megascape on YouTube. I apologize once again for the lengthy delay as far as my creative output is concerned. It's still a bit of a emotional and rough, tumultuous journey for me as of late. And as well, there hasn't been many films other than Spider-Man No Way Home that I felt compelled to watch as of late. Since the trailers haven't really done much to entice me. And given that Morbius has been moved to April 1st, it's probably going to be a while before I review another film that's in theaters, and maybe the next one will be Death on the Nile. We'll see about that. But I want to go ahead and do a review of a film that has been polarized for quite a number of years until it eventually became one of those type of films that I guess you could view as a cult classic, and how it's viewed as more of a entertaining, so bad but it's great type of film. The film that I am talking about is Street Fighter, based off the very popular fighting video game series. Now, when Street Fighter first came out, I want to say this was probably the third video game adaptation that was released into a live-action format. Because the first was Super Mario Brothers, then you had Double Dragon, then I want to say it was Street Fighter. And Street Fighter being a third of the live-action format was definitely a big deal at the time, because I can remember when Street Fighter 2 came out, and that was such a huge deal amongst us kids going to the arcade and playing as Ryu, Guile, Ken, what have you, and being so immensely irritated when you got to the final battle with Bison, and Bison being one of the cheapest, most ridiculous final bosses in any fighting game next to Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn being number one and as being the most cheapest. But when it was announced that it was going to be a live action film, of course, me being a kid, I'm excited. I'm like, man, get to see Ryu do the Hadouken and Shoryuken, and Ken doing all his moves, and Sonic Boom from Sonic Boom from Guile and the Flash kick, Zangief, E Honda. I mean, you were just gonna, in your head, you had to already visualize exactly what it was going to be about, and then lo and behold, when the film came out, naturally you're thinking, this is not what I was expecting as far as these characters were concerned. I mean, everything about the film was exceptionally different compared to what we were envisioning in our heads. So you had Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was very popular. It still is quite popular, but immensely popular in the 90s. You had who was playing Colonel Guile. Then you had Raul Julia, the late great Raul Julia, who played Gomez Adams from the Addams Family, just a marvelous actor. He was playing M. Bison. Then you had Kylie Minogue, who's playing Cammy. And so you have Wes Studi playing Sagat. Now, needless to say, all the familiar characters are there. None of them are even remotely close to how they are depicted in the video game, and even in the animated film that was released, Street Fighter 2, the animated film, which is a marvelous anime. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I definitely recommend it. So when you're watching the film, you see Guile, you see Ryu, you see Ken, you see Sagat, Zangief, DJ, Chun-Li, Blanca, Dhalsim, Bison, obviously. You see all these characters, and you're thinking, okay, this should be something special. But man, oh man, were we ever wrong when you think about it as far as watching it right then and there? It is definitely, looking back on it now, a film that is so bad it's exceptionally great, because you know exactly what you're getting, and despite its horribleness, it is still a very fun, unique film to watch if you don't take it seriously. What makes this film so special, obviously, is Raul Julia as Bison. You take him out of the equation, and this film is absolutely a piece of excrement, in my opinion. But Raul Julia, actually, from my understanding, studied several pieces of footage of known prominent dictators, and he studied their body language and their voice inclinations and how voice inflections, and how they were able to, convey exactly what they were wanted to convey amongst the masses. And I guess Raul Julia figured, I know this is a piece of crap, and I know this film is not going to be successful, and I know people are going to hate it, but I am going to be the greatest. I'm going to be the greatest ever in this piece of crap that no one's ever going to forget. And sure enough, that's what he was. I mean, Raul Julia this was the last film. This was a testament/testimony to his talent. I mean, he did such a marvelous job. He is, without a doubt, Bison. Now, it's it's very hard to think about when you want to consider exactly what you want from a Street Fighter film. Street Fighter, when you compare it with Mortal Kombat, is a lot more colorful, quirky, cartoonish, comic bookish, if you will. So it's a lot more easier to think about exactly what you want from that perspective compared to Mortal Kombat. Whereas Mortal Kombat is a lot more darker, grittier, violence. It's just a lot more on an exponential level and content representation compared to Street Fighter. So when you watch Street Fighter, in my opinion, the only ones that are remotely close to being, I guess, similar to their character counterparts from the video game and even the animated film would be Vega and Bison. Needless to say, the fight scenes in this film, given how it's much more of a traditional, old school feel of being able to express the fight sequences. I mean, obviously, you know what to expect when it comes to Jean-Claude Van Damme and his martial arts expertise, but there's really not a whole lot of Street Fighter-esque inspired fight sequences. I mean, you notice the Hadouken, the Shoryuken, which is cheaply done. You notice the flash kick and Bison doing the flying attack without the special effects with the human torpedo. You notice all those things, but it's nothing that remotely comes close to capturing exactly what made the game so special. I think if they did it now, it would be a lot more authentic, if that makes any sense. But from an overall cinematic perspective, it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of humor in it, and it's just so cheesy and ridiculously over the top that you can't help but find some semblance of enjoyment in it. And I think that's what makes it such a special, unique film. Now, if you're looking at it from a cinematic perspective of whether or not this is a great film, it's absolutely not. I mean, it's completely and utterly abysmal. It's horrible. As a film, it's god awful. But if you're able to just simply say, you know what, I know this is a piece of crap. I know it is what it is. I'm going to receive it for what it is. I'm just going to sit back, turn my brain off, and just enjoy it for what it is. You could find great enjoyment in Street Fighter. I mean, obviously, Jean-Claude Van Damme is not the greatest actor in the world. But him as Colonel Gao, it is what it is. Kylie Minogue as Cammy, never particularly cared for Cammy as a character. So that really but it wasn't a make or break situation type for me. But I still enjoy how Vega is, because Vega really is such a marvelous character in the game and even the animated film. Just a psychotic, serial killing bullfighter, inspired bullfighter who simply took joy out of doing what he wanted to do and inflicting pain on others. That's what makes him such a intimidating type character. So I did enjoy that. And the soundtrack I remember listening to on a daily basis during my childhood, and that was still a relatively good soundtrack. But from again, as someone who loves film and critiques film, this is absolutely still one of the worst films ever made. However, it is still fun, and it deserves to be considered a cult classic, given how, despite it being the third cinematic adaptation when it comes to video game formats into a film representation, it's still fun, it's still entertaining, and it does its job well if you simply just want to again enjoy some brain dead, ridiculous, over the top action sequences and humor. I mean, there's a pretty funny scene with Zangief and DJ in the film. You'll know what scene I'm talking about when you watch it. But again, if you're gonna watch Street Fighter, you watch it for Raul Julia. Absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts about it. His performance is bar none, the elite of all elites. So if you want my final score of Street Fighter, I am going to say that as a film, 0. Storyline perspective, 0. Character development, 0. But as an entertaining film, something that's not to be taken seriously, it scores a 5 out of 5. You're not going to see Blanca be Blanca. You're not going to see Dawson be Dawson. You're not going to see Zangief be Zangief. You're not going to see DJ, Sagat, Ryu, Ken. You're not going to see any of the characters that you're overly familiar with and love from the video games do what they're known for in the film. But if you could just sit back and enjoy it as a quality form of brain dead entertainment, then this is your type of film. So I will give that on the brain scale, a brain dead scale of entertainment, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 for sure. But as a cinematic film, horrible, absolutely horrible. But I do recommend watching it with some friends just so you could enjoy it from a comedic and commentary perspective, instead of just trying to view it as a tour de force art film, if that makes any sense. But that's my review of Street Fighter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about it. If you have watched the film and plan on watching the film at some point, should you decide to sit back during the weekend and watch it, that's completely up to you. But I would love to hear from you, and post on my Facebook if you want to. Provide a like on my YouTube page, and you'll be hearing from me again. My friends, take care and peace out.